In the world of unsolved mysteries, few are as chilling literally and figuratively as the Dyatlov Pass Incident. A group of young Soviet hikers, a remote mountain, torn tent, scattered bodies, and an investigation that raised more questions than answers. This isn't fiction. This isn't a ghost story told around a campfire. This is a real event, documented, photographed, investigated. Yet no one has ever been able to truly explain what happened. More than 6 decades later, we still ask, what terror forced 9 trained mountaineers to flee into a deadly Russian winter, barefoot and half-dressed, never to return alive? The year was 1959, the height of the Cold War, a time of Soviet secrecy, technological ambition, and brutal winters. 9 hikers set off on a 300-kilometer expedition into the Ural Mountains. All were students or recent graduates of the Ural Polytechnic Institute. Their leader, Igor Dyatlov, just 23 years old but already an experienced trekker. The rest of the group included Zinaida Kolmogorova, a tough and spirited hiker; Yuri Doroshenko, known for once chasing off a bear with nothing but a geologist's hammer; Ludmila Dubinina, remembered for her stubbornness and bravery; Alexander Kolevatov, a radio engineering student; Rustam Slobodin, athletic and quiet; Nikolai Thibeaux-Brignol, a charismatic engineering student; Yuri Krivonischenko, known as the group's jokester; and Semyon Zolotaryov, the odd one out, a 38-year-old World War II veteran and hiking instructor who joined at the last minute. There was a 10th member, Yuri Yudin, who turned back early due to illness. He would later say, "Had I known what was going to happen, I would have stayed with them." On January 27, 1959, the Dyatlov group departed from Vizhai, the last inhabited settlement before their journey into the snowy wilderness. Their goal, Mount Otorten, whose name in the local Mansi language means, "Don't go there." But bad weather forced them off course. They ended up on the slopes of a nearby mountain named Kolet-Syakhl, a Mansi word meaning mountain of the dead. They pitched their final camp on February 1st. It would be the last time anyone saw them alive. When Dyatlov's group failed to return as scheduled, families grew worried. On February 20th, the Soviet authorities launched a search mission. Local rescue teams found nothing, so did military squads. Then, on February 26th, searchers found the tent. What they saw made their blood run cold. The tent was slashed open from the inside, not unzipped, not torn by wind. From inside. As if something inside terrified them enough to make them claw their way out. Inside the tent were their belongings: clothes, boots, even food, untouched. Footprints led away from the tent. Some were barefoot, some in socks, some in only one shoe. They led into the woods. And then they ended. No signs of a struggle, no blood, just eerie silence. The first 2 bodies, Krivonischenko and Doroshenko, were found near a cedar tree, nearly naked, their hands burned, as if they had desperately tried to start a fire. Their limbs were scratched raw, possibly from climbing the tree trying to spot the tent. Nearby, Dyatlov's body was found, face up, frozen, his fists clenched, as if he had fought something unseen. Kolmogorova and Slobodin were found soon after. They were also partially clothed with blunt force injuries. All 5 had died from hypothermia, but some had bruises and minor internal damage, too strange to ignore. Then came the most disturbing discovery. 2 months later, the remaining 4 hikers were found in a ravine, buried under several meters of snow. Dubinina was missing her tongue and her eyes. Zolotaryov had a crushed rib cage, injuries similar to those in a car crash, but with no external bruising. The Bobrignol had a cracked skull, again with no outer trauma. These weren't wounds you get from falling in snow. These were massive, concentrated internal traumas. And yet, no signs of a fight, no defensive wounds, no other footprints. The official Soviet investigation lasted just a few weeks. Their conclusion? The hikers died due to an unknown compelling force. That's it. No explanation. Just mystery. And so began the swirl of theories. Some logical, others almost unbelievable. Let's examine them. Theory 1. Avalanche. The most widely accepted theory today. Some believe the hikers accidentally triggered a small avalanche. Panicked, they fled the tent. But many experts, including modern-day avalanche scientists, disagree. The slope was shallow. There were no signs of snow displacement. The tent was still partially upright. And why would trained hikers run barefoot into a blizzard? Theory 2. Katabatic wind. Some meteorologists propose a katabatic wind, an intense, icy gust, rushed down the mountain and destabilized the tent. But again, this doesn't explain the injuries, or the missing eyes and tongue, or the organized path into the woods. Theory 3. Military cover-up. Remember, it was 1959 Soviet Union. The Cold War was raging. Some believe the hikers witnessed secret military tests, possibly parachute mines or radioactivity experiments. Some of the bodies had traces of radiation, fueling this theory. But critics say the radiation was minimal, possibly from their work with university equipment. Still, this theory raises eyebrows because some of the files on the case were reportedly classified for decades. Theory 4. Mansi attack. The local indigenous Mansi tribe were initially suspects. But the autopsy revealed no signs of human struggle, and the Mansi had no known motive nor history of violence. In fact, they helped in the search efforts. Theory 5. Paranormal or extraterrestrial involvement. Strange lights in the sky were reported in the area that night. Some speculate the group encountered something otherworldly. UFOs, secret weapons, unknown creatures. It sounds wild, but some point to the precision of the injuries, the fear evident in how they fled, the mutilations. Still, there's zero concrete evidence to support this. It remains a theory in the shadow of the mountain. Among the hikers' recovered cameras were their last photos. Most are happy, smiling, group shots in the snow. But one stand out. Known as Frame 34, it shows blurry lights against the night sky. What were they? Glitches? Flares? Or something else? Only Yuri Yudin survived, thanks to his illness that forced him to turn back early. For decades, he mourned the loss of his friends and continued to search for answers. In one interview, he said, "I still don't know what killed them, but I know it wasn't an avalanche." He died in 2013, never knowing the truth. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the case. Their final conclusion in 2020? An avalanche. Case closed. But to many, it felt like a way to bury the past, not uncover it. Even modern researchers question the verdict. Because there's something about this case that still doesn't add up.